What up, guys? What up? We are live. What's up, everybody? How's it going? Today we're going to be in Houdini and hopefully in the Unreal. In fact, let's go ahead and open up Unreal. I've been looking around, scouring the ends of the internet to find a way to get a desirable result for some type of walking VFX. It's actually been relatively hard. Because what I want to do doesn't fit in. I mean, it's like a smoke because it's dirt, but I want to get this very stylized effect involved with the entire VFX. So, with that being said, let's let this load and kind of scourge the internet some more for hopefully some better results. Dream Studio screams, "Do not start the stream without me." It's too late. We've already started. I'm joking. All right, everyone, let's pause. Freeze until Dream Studio. No, he's already here. Sorry, there's going to be a lot of attempts at humor here. And I'm not the funniest person on the planet. I'll admit that. So you'll have to give me some grace. How's it going, Dream Studio? Welcome to the stream. Let's go ahead and plop this up. Do not start this stream without me. This in no way, shape, or form really gives me what I want. Let's see if we can get some interesting looks here. I mean, this kind of gives that. Oh, that's why. So as you all know, we finally got our pickups working in game, which is fabulous. Great. What about you? I'm doing great as well. Just trying to figure out how to create some VFX stuff. So what are you working on today, Dream Studio? Now, it looks good, but it's just like we're not getting... We see that some people... So if we set this to 1 automatically, we could do stuff like this. Feels like the delay is just too much. Let me fix it. I apologize. Yeah. Maybe it's the delay? Maybe it's something else. I don't know. Maybe it's the delay. This is relatively cool that we can do stuff like this. But it's like I wish we could like shoot it out to the side to look like it's like a blob. I just want to get this like putty feeling. Yeah, it does feel like there's been somewhat of a delay recently with my streams. I don't know what it could possibly be. It's on my end. YouTube stream delays are too long. Okay, so it could be a me thing. Go to your YouTube studios. Here, let's try seeing if that's the thing. Checking. 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello, hello. Is there a delay? Is it me? It's okay now. It's just my network. Okay, cool. I just want to make absolutely sure that it's not a me thing. You know? But yeah, so like there's a lot of people, like I've been looking up this stuff, Dream Studio. There's a lot of people using, you know, like meshes
As you can see,
to get these, but the issue is since we're going on mobile, we want these to be sprites, right? And I've looked up, like, this guy has actually a lot of cool, like, VFX, right? But how is he getting, is he just, I know he's doing a lot of this. He's doing a lot of this in Unreal. I don't know if what he's doing is like, yeah. He's creating textures, it looks like. And he just has a mesh. Oh, he's creating this in Substance Designer, which is cool. I want something to look like it's starting from the foot, shooting out, landing on the ground. I mean, I could just do like little meshes that like pop out. Let's see if there's a way to simulate gravity in this. I'm gonna turn the music down a little bit, guys. It is a little bit too loud for me. Let's check it out. VFX or Houdini simulate physics. It's called simulation something something. Don't know the name. That's probably what it is. Let's look it up. Test simulation ragdoll. That's going to involve bones, isn't it? Physics. Labs physics painter. I don't know what the heck that is. Dry current paint. Activate all paint. Oh, so it's just creating some physics paint. Effects. Simulate. What if we do sim? Test sim. Lab simple retime. Rope wrap. Simulation for crowds. I don't see anything for like making something like fall and hit the ground. This has simulation because of the animation here. Standard. I'm hoping like if I could create like a blob of any kind and like simulate it, like add velocity to it. I don't know if it's possible. We might need something complete, like a whole nother rig. Sorry, we don't want that up. I keep clicking the wrong one. Houdini wet sand simulation. Man, look at all this cool simulations people come up with. That is crazy. For what? Is it a power-up animation? It's just a walking, like, dust particle animation. I feel like it's something relatively easy that can kind of help me get into learning how to make. Essentially just something relatively easy for me to make in Houdini and get introduced to VFX in it. Why am I getting this? This is not Houdini simulate physics. We can do water simulations. Maybe we can make it look like, I don't know. Maybe we can use water simulations to get what we want.
I'm just going to go over 4 different ways to cash out a water simulation for you guys. And right now this is actually relatively fast. I am going to create a ground plane.
Okay.
So when we look at it now,
I'm using the indie version, yeah.
animates and it's working with physics and everything. And right now this is actually relatively fast. Although let's trim the area down to 48 frames. So that way we can kind of see. So right now as it plays, let's go real time. So it plays our 2 seconds. When it cached, it was a bit slower. This is that it takes quite a bit more time to cache it. And depending on how much memory you have, you may or may not have the space for it in your memory to be able to load it all the way through. So that's why you might want to be able to cache out a simulation. So looking at this, this looks really nice, but it is obviously
Jesus.
taking quite a bit for 2 seconds. So the first place where we would want to look at to cache out a simulation is here in the Autodot network. Okay, cool. So I paused it.
This poor guy
And
reminds me of
okay.
Light
So
Dation says, sorry it took long. I was at McDonald's buying a lot.
here,
Sounds like me when I'm at
we
McDonald's,
have
so you're forgiven.
a
Welcome to the stream, my friend.
option here to save to this. So this is actually going to save the cache out into a file. And it's going to be a .sim file. It's saving out dollar SF. SF is for simulated frame. So we're saving in the hippogram or whatever. I'm going to actually change this to my desktop.
Gosh, I haven't gotten much sleep in the last couple of
so
days, chat.
that we can have
Been a degenerate.
there
I'm
really
playing
quick.
that new Enshrouded game at night. During the day.
I'll just call this test. Okay, I don't want that. I want let's go.
Alright. I'm getting antsy. Stephen Christie says LOL. LOL. Fluid. Let's look up fluid stuff. Fluid surface. Vilium configure fluid. Create points from volume. What if I use this? Boom. I think my computer just took a dump right when I added that in. Oh no! This is why I hate messing with physics. Everything does this. I just want to get like this, like, bleh, you know? Oh, hey, check it out. Now we got some water. Particle size. Um, well, this is all fine and dandy. Constraints, geometry, collision, Velium fluid. So what does this even do? Packing density. I guess how dense things are. I've been playing too much MW5 lately myself, not getting much done. Yeah, ditto. I mean, I'm getting some stuff done, but I think it's important. I'm primarily playing the game for resource purposes or resource research. You get a lot of resources in that game. But I've been playing it for research because it's kind of, I'm making like a game where you get resources and build stuff, so I'm just trying to see how they handle handle that in particularly. Honestly, Steve, if you're looking at like a good construction mechanic or building mechanic, I would check that out. It's pretty good. Pretty good stuff. Research. I know. Gotta write it off on my taxes. I bought this game for research. Did you really? And then I just go like this. I'm like, I have a game design degree. Game design degree, chat. Now, everything I play, any game, it's research. Okay? It's not for personal enjoyment. Up. I went too low. Okay, thank God that doesn't break things. From Harvard? I wish from Harvard. No. A small time. Well, actually, one of the biggest, one of the best community colleges in America. Moore Park. Let's see. Fluid. Particle fluid surface. Like, how do you even make a fluid thing? So we could take this and then required particles and volume. I remember last time this worked. I just like plugged it in and it worked. What if I do that? That work now? Nope. Nope, nothing ever works for me. Oh, hey. That's because we don't want the particle surface. What was that? I had like, maybe it's liquid. Water? Hmm. Shoot, I might as well just go and make one at this point. Just draw it. But I thought it would be interesting to learn this, but it's just like nothing. Fluid, Kelvin Wake's deformer. Lab splatter. Look, we have something like this. Can I just... Fluid simulation, the geometry. We've got the ground plane. First of all, I don't want the distance too high. The solver, timescale, visualization, impulse activation. Why can't I change? There we go, the forces, direction. I want this to shoot. $50. Oh. And up a little bit too. I guess -50? Holy moly. Let's go to the ground plane and do the distance. What time is it there? Here it is currently 10:25. Hey, this kind of works, huh? Now we just scatter some balls on these. I just want this to happen multiple times, but randomly, like bleh, bleh, bleh. And then we're good. Like we have one come up, and then another one shoot out. That's maybe less. So it's a little random every time. I don't know. Maybe we found our thing randomly. Broop, broop, broop. Oop. Visualization, the voxel scale. Let's make voxel size super high. I don't think any of these changes anything. What if I do this? Doesn't do anything. Oh my gosh, chat. Chat, I think I figured it out. Holy cow. Bro, 10:25? What day? It's 10:25 a.m. And banana? Yeah. It's 10:25 a.m. in the morning here in California. I am in California. Now, we're going to copy to point. Copy to point. Right, we're going to copy to points. We're going to get a sphere. Sphere. A sphere, nothing to sphere when God is here. Right, guys? Yo. Yo, I think we figured it out though. We should like from here and just bleh. Let's remesh, I guess. I don't know. But we should probably merge, huh? Let's merge. No, not error. Merge. We want to merge. And then we want to remesh, I think. I think I just accidentally stumbled upon a big brain thing. How do you actually, like... Because I don't know if I'm doing this justice, yo. Okay. I don't think I'm actually... Only if Blender have these, right? Let's see. Let's get rid of this, first of all. Let's go over here. Let's go back in time. I'm gonna go back in time. I spent all day yesterday trying to figure out the exact stylized VFX. Houdini. He shows us how to make stylized effects in Houdini. Maybe we watch this some other time. That's pretty sick. Huh. Regardless, let's look for... This is what I saw. That I can't do it. What if I told you that you can't do it? How does he remesh these?
In the game engine?
Come on. Show me how you do it. Don't play this game. Come on. I know. Get the attribute randomize. Why is he's randomizing the P scale? That's smart. I want to copy that. Does he do that after or prior? Let's look at that again. And I'm going to get rid of this. So before he copies the points, he randomizes the P scale so they get little differences in the thing. Right? So. Oh. I might have to go check on my dog because he's down there barking. It's making me angry. Randomize. Come on. That's obviously not where I wanted it. But I guess because I had that selected, it automatically does it. That's cool. I didn't know that. Learn something new every day. Now, if you could just fix this thing instead of adding the thing. Let's go ahead and we can output the radius options, and then in here we should be able to go P scale. And now we get all these little poofies, right? I'm gonna combine them. Then I'm gonna play this. And then we're essentially just, that's gonna be our, we're gonna get a camera and we're gonna put this into a flip book and then we can use that in like a Niagara system. That's what I'm thinking with my game developer brain. Well, let's go ahead and save this because it's starting to work real slow. Now, how does he combine these together? Because he's just got a poofy cloud. I don't know what he does. Okay, I don't know how he goes from here to here, but he shows us how he makes the thing. And I think what he's doing is he's just copying stuff and having him randomly shoot out with the opacity mask, yada yada. But I want to see how he combines these meshes. Convert. When does he do that? He uses a VD from polygons. VDB from polygons. Is that something I have access to as well? VDB from polygons. Let's check it out. VDB from polygons. Boop. Let's go. Let's go. Hey, let's go. Let's go. Sorry, you probably don't want to hear let's go 30,000 times. Look, guys, we're doing the thing. However, it looks kind of gross. I don't know if that's what we want. But the higher the voxel size, the more juicy it looks. Right? Like I probably go, man, I'm gonna save before I do this. It's probably gonna freaking make my computer fart really hard. Yeah, I don't want it to. I want him a little bit bigger, honestly. Because then it looks more like a cloud. Like when the character runs, just imagine, like this is where he steps, and then we're gonna be like, sorry, it's on a good loop. But yeah, it's gonna shoot out. VDB smooth. Bam. Bam. How's that look now? That looks too smooth. I think we gotta lower these just a little bit. And then that will smooth. I just don't get it. We're getting like these. Okay, bro, good night. I want the effects to be awesome. They will be awesome. You have an excellent night, and thank you for stopping by Dream Studio. Now have good dreams. Let me go check on my dog. I gotta go scream at him really quick. Go bark at him too. So he knows who the alpha dog is. Back. Let me go bark at him really quick, you know? Go show him who the real boss. Who the boss be up in a bee. It's interesting though. He gets like this really smooth. What is he doing? Why does this look like a freaking mesh for him? Huh?
I'm gonna smooth it as well. So VDB smooth with the default settings for now. Next thing, I'm just gonna convert that. Convert VDB, and I'm gonna convert.
Oh, so he converts the VDB to a mesh. Convert. VDB to a mesh from a volume to polygons, right? Except it's not as powerful. Right? What happened? I don't want it to go that low. No, it's way too low. I think what it needs is more, there we go. Doesn't look as cool as it was, though. A little sad, low key. I had like an immense amount of excitement, and now I just feel sad. So what happened from here? I had like 3, 3. I kind of want it to have more like oomph, you know? I want it to have more oomph. Is there any way to give it more oomph, particle separation, birth, the start frame, ground plane, visualization? That's all we can do. Collision geometry, and then we have fluid source geometry. Huh. Ooh, maybe we do an explosion force. Maybe we can make this a little bit bigger or bulkier. I don't know. Tolerance. Oh. Fog volume. It's really hard to appreciate it when it takes so long to see like what it'll actually do. I guess we just do this chat. Doesn't look as cool. Kind of just looks like how I don't want it to look. I'm a little annoyed. I mean, that looks a little bit cooler. Um, trying to make this more. Like we have this, but I'm trying to add more to it. Vertical separation. Oh! Sorry. I'm lagging right now. Holy. It's just a giant ball. Honestly, we could just do this offset here. I think I just made a boo-boo though. Okay. If we try to get some like forces and maybe we do like a explosion direction one, I don't know. Okay. Too much for my little brain. I feel like the explosion force. I want more of an explosion coming like this, like immediately out the gate. I want some spread. I want some. How much the force can vary. Enable gravity, the magnitude. Oh. Actually, I think one is relatively good. Yeah, because it's like right about there on the ground. How can I add an explosion direction? What error are you running right now? There's no error. Let's just let this cycle do its thing, right? We just let it cycle. So this is like a 50 frame. What, now I gotta wait for this to load? What the heck's going on? Oh. Oh. We don't want that. That's no bueno. What the heck? I guess it's because I changed the explosion force. I had to let it do its thing. I'm just looking for something with more of a spread to it. Like it's like, psh, you know? If I was walking in mud, I mean, this can work, but I feel like it worked better for mud. The character is walking in some mud. You know, you can. Max relax radius. Generate count per primitive. Ooh, in texture space by density. I guess we're just gonna have to do by density. Yeah, I feel like this is way too much at that point. I'm just trying to get this stuff out here. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Oh. Yeah, we're just gonna keep it at about 1,500. I'm just trying to play with some figures to see if I can get some of these things that are flinging out. No! Okay, thank God. Yeah. Thought we made a boo-boo. Exterior band voxel? What the heck does this do? Interior. Fill interior. Unsigned. Oh. Preserve holes. I guess there's really nothing we get outside of that point besides here, where I decide to smooth everything. Ugh. Let's let it load all these. I also honestly have half a mind just to like try to capture that volume, maybe seeing if I can amped up the density in it. You know what I'm saying? This is weird. Yeah, honestly, I like this one a little bit more. And at this point, these all like, this volume gets smaller. I could probably go through each one and make it smaller as time progresses. And then I feel like that might be a little too much though. Let's go back and check out this video.
Good morning, good evening, wherever
Even
you are
though
in the
this
world.
is
Welcome to another
long,
edition
so we're
of
gonna
CBS
just
Live
cut
Effects
through
Special.
this.
I think we're
See
up
if
to
we can
episode
find
31,
something.
which is exciting. It's something like that.
Harbor Freight knows skill is important because on any given day,
Thank you, Harbor
we're all-
Freight.
You know, in visual effects, in film, it's not really something that I get to do that often. But yeah, I still really enjoy it. So put a facet down afterwards as well, because after the displaced normal, it kind of gives you wacky normals, and you can't really see those surface details there. So there we go. You can already see, you know, once I put a subdivide down to see extra details there, I can see. Whoa! Don't do that.
That guy put 41. He's about to make his computer die.
Animating at the moment.
He's like, no.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? I saw it and I was like, I've seen a couple of guys do stuff out of Blender.
I've been there.
Well, unless it's the same guy every time. I don't usually take note of who did it, but yeah, it's a really cool kind of, you know, thing to try. So I think, you know, with the turbulent noise, you can see there's a lot of detail there. Maybe there's too much. With anime style, you know, smoke and explosions or whatever, it's usually, yeah, they're quite rounded shapes, quite soft,
Yeah.
and simplified. So
Yeah.
you know, if you take the roughness down on your alligator noise or on any noise, it will start to simplify those shapes. So you know, you can kind of see how you get these very simplified shapes. You play around with the different types of noises as well, just to see, you know, kind of what kind of noise you might want to use. I think alligator gives a good kind of cellular pattern, so that's kind of cool. So I don't know, let's go with that. And I've got the fit in here, so I can actually crush this noise to, you know, potentially create little troughs. So, you know, you can see as I bring up the source min, it sort of flattens that displaced normal. It's awesome.
That is pretty cool what he's done
Let's
there.
try some different ones. Let's see. Again, very cool. You know, very cool looking thing.
The heck is Bex Builder? I have a Bex Builder in here automatically, right? Oh. How did he go into that viewport? What a mad lad. Let's see what he did. So he's got all these regular stuff. And somewhere in between, he goes into an entirely different.
Then let's put down an attribute VOP, and I'm gonna put down a turbulent noise.
Okay, so he goes into the attribute VOP.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? I turn my transform back on. So, you know, you've got double kind of pulsing going on there. Maybe divided by 24 instead.
This is actually pretty crazy.
Yeah.
My mind is being
Yeah, you can play around with that.
blown right
I'm still
now.
not mad about these shapes, but I don't know. Let's press on.
So in the attribute
So,
VOP, he's able to go
got
in
that.
and create these varieties and
now if
shapes.
we merge. Well, actually, what I'll do is just duplicate this.
And it's a lot easier on the computer to do. It looks like stuff like this, because just messing with like the VOP volume.
Torus here, and I'll create a new one. Oops. And I've got my transform here, so I'll just duplicate that.
Why don't you just make another transform? Oh, he's just
Actually,
going
instead
to.
of duplicating it, I'll reference this one. So I'll copy parameter.
Okay. Okay.
And paste relative reference. So that there's a linked now. If I change one, I'll get, you know, both. And this one, you know, potentially, or I guess this one, potentially could be a little thicker. So it is going to be a bit more outside the torus that's in the middle. So now that we've kind of done that, like that's our kind of look dev experiment for getting the noise and shapes right. We need to look at how, you know, how to get this.
Now, if you're building wireframes, the words you write for the content is of utmost importance.
Okay.
This
Thank you.
This edge look that's transparent and sits over the top of the other one and really makes it look like, you know, that kind of stylized anime smoke or steam. So I'm going to go to my transform node. I'm going to turn off my subdivide. Actually, what I'll do is I'll leave my subdivide on 1 because that kind of gets rid of some of those jaggy shapes. And I won't render this attribute VOP. So I'll render that. So let's create a camera. Hey, Tom, no worries. Yeah, look, I think, you know, in any 3D package, you can do this stuff. You just really need to figure out the specific ways that each package, you know, can do it. But yeah, you can certainly do this stuff in Houdini. So let's render this. Camera 1, render.
Rendar?
Exciting. Okay. So let's call this inside torus and anime smoke. And this one, so the inside torus, I'll just give a principled shader. So inside torus map. And then I'm going to put down a material builder, which is just an empty container. And this one can be my anime smoke map. So I'll assign those. Oops. Slash map slash inside torus slash map slash anime smoke. So that should just go white because there's nothing on that material. So first things first, let's copy. This is the cool thing about VOPs, is that you can copy this stuff that we've already done here. So I could copy all of that, really. Might just, I'll just pop that out and I won't copy that little promoted parameter. So I'll just copy that stuff and then jump to materials, go inside and hit paste. Whoops, Control P. Wrong one. Hit paste there, and there's my stuff already set up. So let's hook it up. Pos into P, so this is displacement globals, and then displacement normal, and here, over here is my displacement output. So if I plug this into here, you can see it starts to displace, but it looks really wacky. And the reason is that this is displacing quite a lot, And there's this thing called displacement bounds in Mantra that kind of restricts or limits the amount that something can displace before it sort of breaks. And I guess it's an efficiency thing for the renderer. But by default, if you're displacing a lot, it looks broken. Like this. So there's this hidden parameter, and you'll see it on a principled shader under displacement. You can see displacement bound there. And if you hover over it, it says displacement bound parameter VM underscore displacement bound. So where is that and how do we get that here? If you edit parameter interface on a material builder or any material that you want to add this to, and over here under create parameters, under render properties, if you type VM underscore displace, there it is there. Under Mantra shading displacement bound. Let's just drag that onto the root of my smoke material. Don't need to hit and do anything else, just drag it on there, hit apply and accept, and there it is there, displacement bound. Let's just set it to 1. And there you go. Fixed. Is this Borderlands 4? I don't know what that means. This is Houdini. Molnar. I don't know what you mean by that. I'm not a gamer. Sorry. So there's our displacement. So that's a very important thing to note, that you can add that displacement bound to a custom material like this. Now, if we want to see this with lighting on it, not that we have any lights, but if we want to see it look shaded, we could put maybe a classic shader in, or even we could do a principled shader as well. So principled shader, and let's just collapse that down. And you can see here, we've got a layer output. If I put a compute lighting node down, layer into layer, and then CF, OF, and F into the surface output, there you go. So now we've got like a shader with our own custom display.
This guy's got a freaking
that's
transformer as a PC. I feel like mine would have taken forever to do that.
This needs work. But we're getting somewhere.
Guy's freaking playing on Optimus Prime, dude.
That's cool. Now, what we need to recreate is this effect of it being transparent. And you can see that Chiba Akihito says use Fresnel in the material editor. So whenever you want to create that kind of edge look, the Fresnel operator is a good one to start with. So Fresnel, there's a couple of different ones there, but it's this top one that we want, Fresnel. And you can see we've got normalized incident vector, normalized surface normal, and index of refraction. The index of refraction is actually on the node. So I'm going to plug normals, I'm going to plug normals into here. So here we are here, normals. And then I'm just going to disconnect the OF from there and plug it into Fresnel. You got a couple of different outputs.
Yeah, the opacity, right?
KR, KT, so you've got reflected light, transmitted light, reflection vector, and transmission. So you can play around with those different ones. I'm actually going to disconnect this and this, and just look at the output of the Fresnel. There we go. So there's the CF. So that's the color. And then we've got opacity and alpha. So we'll just hook them all up. And there we go. So we're starting to get something happening. Now, you can change, what that's plugged into as well. You can try the other one and see what that looks like. I think that will be kind of not right. It's like it's almost the inverse. So this is the one that we want. We want the reflected light, some level of lighting in there, because I can see, some gradients and maybe some shadow tone. We can see, what's happening there. So we've got low grey values of becoming purple and the white values becoming red. You could change the interpolation of all these flags. Instead of being linear, where they blend, you could set them to constant. And then you'll get this more
Pronounced
colors. So this potentially could be a grey. Looks like we're getting a little bit of white in there. And then this one could be, you know, white. Just thought I would try and recreate it. I think it's a cool kind of thing. It looks cool. And you could apply this technique to all sorts of, you know, different things. And just see if we can play around with this a little bit. Really much room for that. You know, you could add. But we could bring our compute lighting, so it should from about doing this stuff in
Fortune is my best friend. Hey.
Hey, guy with nice
write it.
hairline.
And
Interrupting my
edit.
educational process.
And yeah, we could pinch this in a bit, make, you know, a bit more of an interesting kind of shape to that. My original, yeah, Taurus is pretty low res, so I don't have loads to work with, but I mean, yeah, you kind of create more of a slipstreamy type effect like that. Yeah, so let's try making this a bit more intense. Let's go. Also do VDB from can do. And
So what did he do?
That one looks like through camera 2. Hide anime smoke and inside Taurus. Hey, girl Fire 1. Thanks for joining me. Let's see what we get. The issue with this is that there's a lot of overlapping spheres. So what we can do is turn that into a VDB from polygons. Let's go voxel size 0.05. We could also do VDB from particles, and that will actually copy a nice little VDB sphere instead, because you can see here I'm seeing the polygonal shape of those spheres. This method will actually just generate a perfect sphere of volume around each point, and you can see that's a lot smoother. So I'll do that and then convert VDB to polygons. There we go, we've got nice polygons now. Now let's render that. So now all the internal bits will be gone, and we'll just see if that looks any better. Okay, so that one looks a little better, maybe a little too noisy. So maybe I'll duplicate that one. Call this one Smoke Mat 2. Go back.
Gonna yawn. You ever have those moments where you're gonna yawn and then you stop halfway through?
So go in and just take the amplitude. Okay, so kind of applying the material there, so I'll just grab it. A lot of that stuff, and we're just left with, you know, this. Let's play with this a little bit. Life, a kind of gradient. You know, you could see that I was setting it to 8 with a variance of 2. So if I have a look at my values there for life, you can see that they have high values, and then their age is just increasing until it hits that value, and once age equals life, the particle gets removed. See, same kind of shapes.
Pop object. Pop source.
Okay. And now what we can do is in attribute VOP have these change over time. So we've got that age and life value in there. If you middle click, you can see, bring it over this side, you can see age and life.
Okay. It's actually rather interesting.
If you divide age by life, you get a normalized age, which is between 0 and 1. So life, you know, you could see that I was setting it to 8 with a variance of 2. So if I have a look at my values there for life, you can see that they have high values, and then their age is just increasing until it hits that value, and once age equals life, the particle gets removed. But if I want a 0 to 1 value so that I can run that through a ramp or, you know, whatever, then I can normalize it by dividing it. Divide age by life. And then you'll see that that gives like a kind of gradient. I don't know why I'm still seeing that VDB there. Viewport's broken. Control T in the viewport. Spawn a new one. There we go. So you can see there now I'm getting a nice gradient of black to white from my normalized age. So I'll run that through a ramp. And I'm going to run that through a spline ramp. And then I'm going to run that out into P-scale. So bind export. Hey, Darth Mojo. So I'm going to export here P-scale. And then I'm going to put the output of that ramp into a fit so I can control that value, because ramps just output 0 to 1. So 0 to, yeah, let's just leave it at 0 to 1 for starters. Let's look at our copy to points as the way to visualize it. Nothing at the moment. Our ramp by default is just flat, so let's do this. There we go. So scaling up over time until they die. What you could do is scale up and then down as well. So you have to scale up and then down as they die. So that might create some interest. You could also randomize this a little bit. So we should have, coming out of here, an ID attribute for each particle. So if I randomize that, just put a random down, hook it up to ID, and perhaps add a value. So fit that between something and then add that to my, well, I could add it to before my ramp here, or I could add it just to my P-scale just to give it, you know, some particles have an offset and some don't. So, you know, we could even add negative values, which will subtract those, you know, that from the value. So you'll get some that are smaller and some that are bigger. Hey, fella peanuts. Thanks. I'm glad you I'm glad you're enjoying them. You're in lockdown too, hey? Are you in Melbourne? Lockdown sucks. I'm so sick of it, but at least we have Houdini to keep us occupied. So you can see, you know, when I disconnect that, you can see that that creates little bits of variance in there. So that's kind of cool. Let's plug that into our VDB and convert, and you can see, just turn that off. So you can see now, you know, we've got some that are smaller, some that are bigger. And if I went and grabbed that VOP that I was testing with earlier, so I'll just grab those two things. Sydney, yeah, you guys have got it even worse than we do at the moment. That's terrible. Yeah, not fun at all. So there you go. So you can see, you know, when I hook up that VOP in there, I do have animation on the offset, which I could nix, and it will just kind of evolve through that, and it starts to look kind of smoky, which is pretty cool. It's like a rolling kind of cloud. You know, some of these bits aren't that great, and maybe we need to kind of play with them a little bit. I think VDB from particles, you could try this as well, where you get a velocity trail off of the particles, so they kind of, you know, they get created, or they sort of stretch based on their velocity. I don't know if that really works. Let's see what that does. It creates some interesting effects, but yeah, I don't know. It looks like ice cream cones or something. So maybe not that one. What else could you do? Let's see. So we've got that. Let's see what it renders like. So it should, yeah, it should be slightly better because there's more variation. Just sort of. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of interesting. You get that kind of, that feeling of rolling and tumbling. There's not too much evolution going on with these ones, just because this isn't changing. It's just a simple shape, and then I'm rotating it. But you could potentially change the scale of those over time, or maybe run them through a noise or something. Might be interesting. Like you could scale down isn't working, so we'll just have them scale up over time a bit more. And of course you can play with this so you get better shapes going on. So something like that. And then I guess because we've got spheres now, we need to VDB from polygons, which is going to give us those. It's going to give us those subdivision lines, but I don't know. There's not too much we can do about that, unless we just take the points from these. So instead of copying the sphere, we'll just take these points, rotate them, and then copy those points onto those points, and then VDB those. Is it the same? Let's see. Let's duplicate that.
All this is making my head explode. He's just copying and pasting too many nodes.
We're missing something there. Probably
Look at that.
Scale
It's crazy.
Is breaking? Maybe we should do accept P scale. Or accept scale, accept P scale. Let's get rid of that. Maybe. There we go. It's a little bit different, but yeah, you can kind of see how that's working. You can always mess with that. So let's see what that looks like. It is a bit of a ball of grapes. It doesn't really look very smoky at the moment, so obviously this needs a significant amount of tweaking. But these are the kind of ways that I would approach doing this stuff. We'll go 100 frequency, which gives us like that. See what our attribute vault looks like. So you can see sort of does that over time. We can change the frequency.
Whoa.
So, maybe this is like an Akira explosion or something very spherical. You could, of course, animate, this potentially. You could also put the fit in there to crush those to create some interesting, peaks and troughs. Maybe the scale isn't so big. Zero. Looks like it's clipping a little. These kind of lines around all this noise. You've got lots of different options here, so you can measure the gradient, you can measure the curvature, based on color for this one. At CD X greater than 0.5, let's say. Again, it's a point group. There you go. So you can see I can trim. There we go. I can trim this stuff back. So once I do that, if I put a smooth down, if I choose none on group boundary, or actually even an attribute blur, I think is a little bit better. Attribute blur P, pin border points, and then crank the blurring iterations. You can see that gives a really nice smooth shape there. So I think that's quite cool. And then you can see as I take that down, you get these really nice So, what the technique is basically to create varying levels of this cull with different colors. So here, you know, I might do, let's make this one black, for example. And then I'll have another version of this over here, which is slightly different. So I'll take that one in. But if I merge these two together, they'll be overlapping. So I also want to peak this one to be inside. You can see I'm getting something interesting happening there. But if I peak this inside slightly, doesn't have to be much, just so they're not overlapping, then I get this kind of effect. So let's make that red. And I'll turn off lights for a second. Or in fact, I'll give this a constant shader. So material, just grab another one of these constants. Just call this explosion.
Man, this guy really knows the software.
Material. Oh, it should show up kind of a bit brighter than that, but I guess not. Maybe we need some normals. You can always do this as well to make it look brighter in the viewport. Just go at CD times equals 10. Hey, look at that. This is just a visual thing. You can put this attribute blur probably down there. There we go. So you can start to see what it's looking like. And then, you know, the peak, again, I think maybe you could do it like a subsequent kind of thing with the peak, but so like you could take that value, copy parameter, paste relative reference, and then maybe times 2 or something, so that it's slightly more again, or times 1.5. And then a different color on that one and a different offset. So let's go 0.7 on that one, color, make that red or orange, attribute blur, hey, there we go. And then finally, you know, maybe there's just one there. Or maybe instead of doing negative peaks, we do positive ones. Maybe that's what I did. So maybe that makes more sense. So each one is kind of, so the base one is kind of not deleted at all, and it's just pure white. So like this. This one's just going to be white. Like that. And then we do, so let's just get rid of that. Do a little peak on each one. 0.01. And then I think I can actually just do each.
By the way, guys, sorry about this. I know this is a little boring, but
peak.
if we want to do something, we gotta do it right, or at least attempt to.
Peak.
And that involves, you know, watching people who know this software, obviously, like this guy, and looking at how he thinks, and you know, oh, it looks like those Halloween candies.
Peak 0.01.
But yeah,
color attribute blur. There we go. Look at that. So what you get is this cool kind of, you know, expanding ball, and you can sort of play with that turbulent noise value if you want to. So as you know, change that value or crush that, sort of changes the way that it looks. Or also, so it's the one feeding into color actually that we need to mess with. There you go. So you can see how, you know, as I change that, I get more of those you know, peaks coming out. And as I change this as well, so roughness, So you can get this cool kind of look. And you can do that as many times as you want. So it's this kind of cascading effect now where you've got one initial blast, your original one, and then everything just kind of comes off that. I actually ended up, so you can see here, so you can see here's the one that we were just looking at. So we've got this initial shape. It's actually a bit more noisy than what I had. And there's our subsequent peak threshold. These really nice kind of details, these nice lines, and really nice smoothing. So I thought that was pretty cool. And again, I saw somebody doing that in Blender. Or a student of mine, I think, brought it to me and said, how could I do this in Houdini? So there's the elegant solution. And there's my first attempt at doing it. 4H loops are great. They make doing this stuff, really cool. And you can see here, I've just got basically a control on the number of iterations. Where
and so each time he goes up, he just creates.
If I wanted to, I could have 9 of these, or 2 of these. You can see, like, I can just keep increasing it to get more and more iterations of that process of doing the peak and then the blast. So, yeah. Let's have a look at our. So you can see, I think, just my scale is probably the thing that's out there, and maybe I just don't have enough controls along the length of this thing. So, if you wanted to create like a ramp along the object, that might be an interesting way to control the fall off of the displacement, or even change the Fresnel as you go back, or change the color. Could be kind of cool as well. All sorts of interesting things you could do with the shader. Lots of possibilities there. Let's go back to Cam 1 and turn off all these experiments. Do a ramp, choose black break as well. Something like that. So what we could actually do is change that index of refraction based on a ramp as well. So maybe the same ramp. If we run a fit off of that, and then our base value that we had was 0.8. So let's set our dest max to 0.8. And then our dest min, let's make that 0.6 and plug that into IOR, or the ETA.
Oh.
Hey, look at that. So we can experiment with that value. And now we're actually getting, a change down the length of that object. And that actually is quite cool. So
yeah, it is.
I think you could potentially create some really nice additional elements to this. That,
and think about it, you do all that just so you can
I'm not sure.
make a flip book out of
it.
it.
Give you more control to create some really interesting effects. Even if you don't do the color variation there, just doing that on the smoke color might be interesting. So you have like a more thick effect at the start, and then it trails off to being really thin at the end. We could set that to 1, so it really sort of peters off towards the end there. That's actually quite cool. You get this really nice solid look at the start.
I really feel like
Off towards the end.
I don't know what it is. I think the individual that he keeps showing on Twitter, I don't know what, it looks Japanese, but whoever it is, I think whatever they did, I like a little bit more in regard to the smoke. But I think when it comes to the fire, he really created something super cool. But I like the other guy's smoke effect a little bit more.
The effect.
It felt a little bit sharper,
the length of the object.
while these seem a little bit wispier.
Messy. Let's move that up there.
So maybe there's a way you could create like a ramp
the B box inside.
in the way it perceives the lines, so you get more of like an ink effect.
I don't know why that's not working. I'm obviously doing something wrong.
But who knows?
So yeah, we've got that look, which is cool, and then we've also got that look, which is the sort of fire blend.
Yeah, I really like that.
Maybe it doesn't work quite as well. I don't know.
I think it works better than you know, the smoke.
Perhaps we just need better color choices.
That's true. It could be just that. But
a second here. So 24 is what we first did. It feels way too slow.
this one looks like it's just way more wispier. And if we look at the beginning, you know, these look a lot more thicker. They look like they have more volume to it.
You know, see.
And even if you look back here,
See what
there's just more.
Oh, that's good, Tyson.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying.
Go to motionray.com to add this to your video, and that, and that.
I will never go to motionarray.com.
Render to this.
I will never go there. Ever. But yeah,
You know, wherever
it would be nice to work.
do Houdini.
Make sure
And,
to
Yeah.
yeah,
See you
subscribe
guys
to
next week.
this.
Thanks for joining me, everybody.
This is awesome. This is awesome stuff. Sorry, I gotta be professional on this account. This is, sorry, awesome stuff is too immature. This is great. There we go. This is great. Very, very, very. Let's see what other stuff he's got. Doing. What is going on? Hold up, guys. So, shoot. We got our little. It makes me like a little ashamed with what I got going on here. Just a little. You know, that's all I got. I'm trying to figure out how they get those particles. Because if I could get the particles, you know, they have particle trails, particle fluid surface, VDB from particle. Like, let's look at particle trails. And it looks like you need a particle simulation, ballistic path, simulation. Particle fluid, particle blah, blah, blah. So How do you even go about? Gosh, my dog is just he's just down there
There you go.
barking, and I can't really go up there and do anything about it.
Anime smoke.
Let's see how because he looks like he has something
Throw
here.
in there if you milk.
Where is it? Where does he show it?
Well, here,
Right
piece
here.
there. Here's a lot again. Applying the material on the top level. What I'll do here is put a material here. So I've got one over the. So edge in the variance.
PDF sort or pop source. Pop source. Pop object. It's called pop. Pop. Network. Ah. But how do we see where it's popping from? Pop. Birth. Don't see anything going on at the moment. Oh, pop object, and we have our pop first input. So it looks like he has something in here that he's wiring in.
So they should start to die around.
So he has a sphere, and I guess they use the sphere as like a particle, I want to say. Okay, what's going on? What's going on? Why is it acting like this now? Come on, darn it. Get rid of this. Gotta blah, 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 blah. Gotta cook. Man, for Friday it is one slow day, wouldn't you guys say? I'm washed up. I guess I'm just not as cool as I thought I was, guys. No one likes to say hi to me anymore. But yeah, check it out. Okay. So this is just a container of some sorts. I guess I could control the emission type. All points. Or all geometries, scatter. However, they're just kind of like growing. Collision, so they get created here. This is the birth attributes. Can I create like use inherited velocity? So is velocity in here? Impulse count. I mean, this looks like it runs relatively nice. Wire pops into here. So I'm assuming I could use a sphere or something to kind of change how this emits, but I don't see any way to add inherent velocity. How does one inherent velocity? Oh my God. What is going on here? No, it's just... God. It's doing the thing again. The thing that upsets me. There we go. I guess it's Alt H. Now, if there was only some way to add gravity to this and make it like a spurt. Time scale. Update collision behavior. Gravity force. Where would you add this at? Looks like there's an error. Connection to input 0 is the wrong type. So what? Would we put gravity force over here? Okay. I want it to be like a burst. Was that like a zigzag? If you do it too hard, it like just starts zigzagging. It's 1 though. It's fine. 2. We want something up as well. I want to pop though. Birth, constant activation. I don't even know what this does. Probalic mission. There's got to be some way to just like, there's no way there's a software like this that doesn't have that. I don't get this constant activation. It seems like something that should be on or off. Turns. Okay. That's interesting. Impulse count. Impulse activation, but what does that even mean? You feel like it would just impulsively do it. It wouldn't just keep going like a constant activation. Birth rate. Okay. Hey Ria, how's it going? How are you doing today? What if I put this to 1? Constant birth rate? That's interesting. Is there like a burst or like an impulse force? Maybe we could do that instead. How are you doing today, Ria? What are you up to? Activation. Okay. On a time frame. Hmm. What is the data that needs to be created here for this to work, though? I wish there was a way to like drag this off, right? And then get all the stuff that would, you know. Been a rough day. Looking forward to the weekend. Hopefully get some rest. Really. So just a lot of work around the house or a lot of having to run around everywhere. How's your work going today? It's going. So I'm trying to create a flip book, which is essentially a bunch of sprites. So when my character walks, it'll spawn these things and it'll look like he's kicking up dust. But, I typically would probably just use Niagara. But seeing how we're on mobile, I want to make sure that I'm being as performant as possible. And that means most likely using as much sprites as I can when it comes to, the entirety of all the virtual effects. Sorry, it's probably not the right way to phrase that. But yeah, I just want like some particles to fly out. Then I want to take that, I'm going to put blobs, I'm going to combine them together, and then I'm going to make it look like he's, kicking up dust. But right now I'm working in here which we obviously have. Oh, hey. And now that's completely gone. Oh, I guess it's right here. That's why. But it's like, how do you merge? Can you merge? It looks like you can. Let's add some more in here to see. Well, it looks like it's colliding now with something. Yeah, it does. It is. If we get it working right, it'll sound cool. Right now, it looks like it's just a fountain poofing out stuff, and I want it to look like something's just like kind of, it's just constantly emitting a force. Wire pops into here. Pop. Color, pop, drag, pop, fireworks. And we were able to add gravity by putting this. So what happens if I do that? It just shoots forever. It's been busy, but also not feeling 100%. Oh, so you got sick too, huh? That's not good. Yeah. Activation. I don't know what. When did you get sick? You don't mind me. Set always. Default point. And what do you think you have? Like a cold sinus infection? Add force to pop. Houdini. Add impulse force to pop object. Houdini. This is ridiculous. Do not share data, force and gravity. I'm trying to figure out what these green lines are for. I don't think I'm getting sick, just no rest. We'll get some this weekend, hopefully. Yeah, the kids probably got you waking up super early. At least that's what it's like for me. For me. What if I add this to here? What happens then, huh? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I like how the gravity immediately works, but Impulse is like, nah, we're not working. We're not doing any of that. We're not going to do any of the things that you want. Default, point, circle. Let's watch this.
So the other way to affect a force is to use a mask. And let's just demonstrate value.
There's no way. There's got to be something. Intro to pop fluids and curve forces. There's got to be something, mate, for me.
Hello everybody and welcome to another Houdini tutorial. My name is Kate and today we'll be doing a very simple type of pop fluid simulation.
I just want
sim this out so you can get
the secret.
of what's going on, and then we'll go into. Alrighty, I'm cutting off the basically the particle life of the particles at a certain point because I didn't want the simulation to go on forever. So let's go over that right now. So as you can see, we have two different elements in our scene. One is bowls and one is fluid. For the bowls, you can see that it's bringing in these bowls.
Okay.
You can also see that the highlighting method of when you select them is a little bit different in Houdini 19 than it was in 18. It has very outlined instead of turning very yellow overall. Here. It turns yellow. If I take it off, we just get the outlines. So I'm going to go into my fluid, and this is pretty much where the main simulation happens. So let's start up at the top. I'm going to start with a sphere. As you can see, I've
looks like how everyone stops or starts.
and then, so there's
I wish I could get my English together. You know that?
Here, I have a transform. What I am doing with this transform is just making this.
This is going to be where it starts.
This transform will help our shape become our collision object. So, you can see that I've played with the scale, and I've kind of flattened this top to the next thing I've done is clipped it. And the distance, I'm not to this bowl. So if we zoom in, you can see if I go back to the clip.
So she's going to match it up completely.
Some rotation.
That seems like a lot of hard work. Like a lot of like being precise. Wait, did she use something? Did she just transform it? No, yeah, she did.
What this merge is doing is just merging these two here.
So she just created these bowls.
So as you can see, I've added a null that says out bowls. This out bowls will also connect to the bowls on the level here.
Oh.
So going back in, let's talk about our forces. So heading over here to our circle, you can kind of see that I have rotated and transformed a circle to match up with the three bowls in the scene. I've given it a center of 0.44 and a uniform scale of 2 collisions. On my points, a transform, I'm just so that it's balancing off the bottom of the bowl. What I'm doing is converting this to a line, and then I'm blasting away part of the circle that I don't need. So the next thing I've put down is a pop net. I've connected this circle and the emitter into the first.
Let me show you how we do stuff around here.
Right when it gets good.
I'm good. Work management.
I can't stay long, but wanted to watch the stream some today. We'll also rewatch later to see what I missed. Yeah, sounds great. Thank you, Ria. Yeah, do what you gotta do. I just appreciate everyone who does show up and show support. So thank you so much for that.
Object in
Oh,
Houdini.
and that's a nice segue into, if you like the stream, make sure to like the stream, right? Click the like button. And if you're looking to be a super supporter, click that, you know, subscription button. Subscribe, whatever you want to call it.
You can see it was thinking.
Click it.
So you can see that in my scene for this dynamic network, I'm using a static object. This static object is bringing in the bowls. So one way to add a static object into your DOPNet is to go over here, select the output of your colliding object, go to collisions, and click static object. It will then take you to the object level. Then you have the option of selecting whatever you'd like to be your static object, clicking enter, and you'll see that the DOPNet has now thought about the changes you made by turning the slider orange. It doesn't seem to have want to listen to me, so I'm going to do that again. So you can see now that it's created a secondary static object. It's also created one of the modernized 2D. So now after diving,
I just want to see how you work with stuff.
Secondary collision object right here. So I'm just gonna delete the new one because we don't actually.
Jesus.
One being how we're applying.
So she's adding force. This is interesting. The pop force. So swirl size. Let's get rid of this. Pulse length. I don't even know what I'm doing. Holy moly. -8. I don't know. Let's see what it does. Okay, so this is a way to add. Hey, check it out. That's pretty sick. That's some good way to get, like, I guess some variation. Swirl size. Let's add the swirl size. Pulse length. Roughness. What does this do? So the higher, the more rough. Okay. Turbulence. Oh! Looks like we're at least getting something a little bit closer to what we want. But I want this to stop emitting at some point. Right? I'm assuming she turns this to 0 or the impulse activation at some point on the screen. So let's try that. What is it? Boom. F. Is it F? F. And then can we do 12? What if I do equals 0? Keeps going. Keeps going.
The forces and one of how we're bringing in the points and creating the points. So the first, oh, that's not good. Go back. First thing I've done is kind of added a gravity node right here, right after my collision object. The next thing I've done is gone up to pop source, use first context geometry, and scatter onto surfaces. I've then gone to birth.
If it's less than. Okay. F. So I was close. The logic brought me close, but didn't bring me too close. You know what? I'm just gonna. I felt more in sync. Now I feel out of sync. Oh no. All right. Let's do 6. How can we make it so it does this, like, I really want this to scatter immediately. But we still want it to be relatively thick, so when we spawn stuff on it, it'll look semi-decent. So boom. Right, boom. Birth. It's got to be in birth, right? Stream. The variance in here. Maybe I need to do this way later. Let's try that. I mean, that looks good. Boom. The only difference is it's flying a little too far. And I don't want it to go too far. So let's that's working a little bit better. All right. But now I want to probably make more births. Birth. All right, we can change that too. And then how do we like turn this back on? Right? Can I do that? And then F greater than, I don't know, let's do 12. Yeah, now it's like, I don't know what you want. Boom. How do we get this to turn back on again? Because I want to get a couple of these so I can throw them in. That way it looks at least one or two. We got one. Boom. And then I want another one. So it looks a little bit like there's some variety in the mix. You know what I'm saying? So let's pop and then how to turn time frame Houdini. You know, looks like people use a switch node. But the issue, I'm trying to get a better. I don't feel like it would be done here, though. Not in the switch node.
Looking for an easy way to get that LLC next to your business name? Say hello to Taylor Brand. You just go to
work that well, but finally I've seen like the latest version. This is like quite stable while this is something which is like really important. Okay, and there's like no proper documentation or any tutorial out there for finish necessary to do. Okay, so if we have the ability to like resume the simulations, that will make our life really easy. Okay, so here we just have a very simple simulation going on. So if you don't know about these flip simulations, you can just go to our channel and look at some very basic videos about flip simulations. We have completely beginner to the quite intermediate level tutorials. Okay, so if you look over here, we just have a sphere, points from volume. We nulled it out and we are just importing it over here, and now we are just doing this simulation. Okay, so let's see how to, first of all, we'll have to cache it out. So let's come over here, and I'm using the latest version of the Houdini, which is like 19.5.435. So make sure you are on the same version if you don't want to have any problems. So let's use the DOP import fields in order to like bring out our data from the SOP level to, sorry, from the DOP level to the SOP level. Okay, and let's paste our DOP network path, and let's choose the flip fluid. Okay, so this way we will have the simulation, and if you have any static object or something, you can just go into this DOP node and just choose the flip object so that it won't bring any static object with itself. Okay, we are just
Wait, he's got this.
DOP. So let's see how to, first of all, we'll have to cache it out. So let's come over here, and I'm using the latest version of the, don't want to have, and let's choose the flip fluid. Okay, so this way we will have the simulation, and if you have any static object or something, you can just go to this DOP node and just choose the flip object so that it won't bring any static object with itself. Okay, so now I'll just use a fluid compress. So fluid compress is like really important, especially if you want to like like decrease the size of your simulation. Okay, so let's do a copy parameter and just paste the relative references in the particle separation. Once again, if you don't know about these things, just okay. Okay, I think I don't folder over here. Now, do remember, really important, flip. Okay, and just go to this .NET, and it's really a good idea to like really decrease this value so that it doesn't store slots. What happens, and to like continue our simulation. Lots of disks, is time interval. Here you now $SL.
Okay. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT. To okay. Okay. So it's kind of like this. So if we say we want to stop it at, first of all, let's get rid of this and see when it stops specifically. Boom. Run. Let's do one at 8, and F is to 3, F is greater or equals to 8. Or f is less than equal to 3, 11, and then we go up. It looks like we do 5 equals 11, and $f is greater than or equals to, is that 16? See if that works. It doesn't work. Hmm. Sorry. Hmm. There's got to be a way to do this. Create a pop source node in the dope network. And then we want to toggle the pop source on and off at specific frames. You can use an expression like this. I'm just going to copy this and see what happens. Guaranteed nothing happens, right? Okay. Doesn't work. What, you can use frame? No, you can't. Still doesn't work. This is interesting. This is interesting. Oh man. I just want this to start at like about 8 so we can get some steps going. Like turn it on and off. Turns it off. Can I use an if in here? If I think this will still work like this, right? No, it won't. Okay. Then equals to 3. Let's just go back to when it worked. Okay. This is troublesome. There's got to be something. How to turn a simulation on and off using timeframes. I swear, I think that should work. Is there like a node on? Birth. Station, impulse count, just born groups, life expectancy. Stream name, geometry. Let's go out of this really quick just to see what we get. Can I choose when the frames end? Probably most likely. Yeah. Starting to not vibe. I need some music, I guess. How to resume simulations. Getting desperate, so I'll watch this. I'm not ever going to Motion Array since you're flooding me with this. Never in my life.
Is Paul Estevez, and in this Houdini tutorial, we're going to talk about time offsetting in Houdini. This is a topic that gets asked all the time, and I had a lot of confusion trying to figure this out. So I'd like to show you my best practices. And
for this, I'm just going to prim import it looks shift proxy 8. It's called really cool with this method mops, and now I use that to mask. The only difference fall off mops trigger, and we're good to go. And again, I can plug this in over here, and if I hit render here, it's working perfectly. And my materials are doing something weird, but
mops. Pendulum motion. Is mop something in here? Mops? Mop. Data flow. Pops, pop, fan, drag, spin, awaken. Awakened by volume, awakened by nearby particles. Gotta go. Hope you make good progress. Well, thank you so much, Ria, for stopping in. I hope today goes a little bit smoother for you. I'll catch you around, and I will see you Monday. Have a nice day and a nice weekend. Awakened by volume. Pop awaken DOP. I'm hoping in this would activation 1. With an expression. Oh my gosh. With an expression. Pop. Activation. Attribute blur. I swear this has got to be the right one that we need. This has got to be the thing. But it's not. And it's probably because we don't have anything in here to awaken by volume. We don't want to stop. Action, awaken. What just happened? Okay. That's not the right one. Gas, build, collision, pop, collision, detect. So this looks like it just takes in a SOP. Collision. Soft body collision properties. Pop collision behavior. Pop collision detect. Behavior. Live. Huh. There's got to be a way to turn this on and off. Yeah, I could probably just make another one. Right. And then have this one activate. Move. Is greater or equal to 8 and f is less than or equal to 12. Or was it 8? 11. Like, I wish I could. If, can I do an else? If else, no. So we can start it again. Boom. And then boom. Yeah, maybe we just create a whole entirely different one later. I tried. We're gonna have to get rid of the ground after this. Can I blast that ground? Can I hide this thing? Okay. All right. That's a little annoying that it's still displaying this grid size. I mean, we need this size up here. It doesn't display it until we leave, then it displays it. Delete. Maybe I can make an attribute for this. Attributes. Yes, no, you can't. You can't even put this into a group. Can I group it? Pop group. Group name, ground floor. Oh, there's no way to extract this. Preserve group. Dope delta look guide. Front not in group. They have a boundary. They have not in group. Object geo not in group. I just want to get rid of this ground plane. You know what I'm saying? But if I delete it after that, it's like, there's your work. Use mass rope. Collision group 2 affected. Sleeping, binding. Whatever. If I do this, then it's just like it doesn't work at all. Okay. So we have no choice but to keep it. There's got to be something that's like, Dad, get rid of that. Get rid of this. If I delete that, then, you know, I delete the whole thing. I think we can get rid of this. Bop. Yeah, seeing it scatters all on the thingamabeeb. Ridiculous. There's got to be something. Number of objects, we have that, and we have the ground plane. Okay, so can I blast the ground plane now? The ground plane. Oh, primitives. Get rid of. I swear, man. First input. Stream source first input. Let me get rid of that. We are number of objects. Object merge. We don't want to merge any of these objects. Simulation. I want to get rid of the ground plane. There's got to be a way to get rid of this dang ground plane. I got rid of it in here, and somehow it's still showing its beady little eyes after this. And I need it for the collisions. Collision. Get rid of collision in, or get rid of ground plane in. Get rid of ground plane in pop output. Exclude. How do you exclude something? Blah, blah, How do I exclude these things? This is ridiculous. Bindings, geometry. Bindings, can't find nothing. Object name, collisions, display. We don't need this in a group. I hate this thing more than anything. There's got to be a way to exclude this. Binding distribution. Exclude. This guy says, and thank you. Fixed it by typing the exclude in the pop net instead of the dope net. How do you typing the exclude? In the pop net instead of the dope net. Initial state. There's got to be a way. Hash. I mean, we have the objects here. Group. Promote. Maybe I can promote the group. Do primitives. This is stupid. Hate everything. How do you exclude this? Exclude. Destroy. Exclude. Nothing. You think they'd have something in here that does this? Using this text in the dope net object line. Where would you put it though? Like, where would you put that? I'm gonna have an aneurysm, dude. They can't just put something in here that excludes it. A node. Flatten. If you get rid of it now and here, you think, like, because it has all the information for the simulation afterwards, you're like, yeah, I'll just delete. I'll just delete this thing. Wait, can you exclude it by doing whatever they said? This little thing? In here? I don't think so. I don't think that's the way. It's not the way. Me. I'll put every sim frame. Create intermediate directories. My brain hurts, dude. This should be easy. To get rid of something like this. Using the text in the dope.net object line. In the dope.net object line. Let's see. This is what I think of when I think of dope.net object line. Here's the dope.net. I don't see anything. Initial state. Reset simulation. And it doesn't even play. Great. I'm gonna freaking have a... Why isn't it playing the simulation now? Problem 1, can't get rid of the stupid ground plane that you need in order to have collision, because for some strange reason they're like, you can have objects in here, but you can't delete them. And on top of that, we're gonna make it so after you solved everything, you can't just delete it right here. We're gonna make you use expressions. You're gonna have to express yourself, buddy. I hope you enjoy my expression of gratitude. Because right now, at the moment, there is none. Paid $400 for 2 years for something like this. I mean, I love the program, but Jesus, there are some times where it's like, delete. Blast. Can I blast? Exclude. Remove. There's got to be a way to do it in here with a node. Come on, man. Using this text in the dope.net, and it would also help if people could... I don't even know what that means. Get out of here.
U-Track's built-in knowledge base is, well, it's whatever you...
Hello everyone. I decided to make a quick walk emitter ground. One thing I want to point out is I know in class we've talked about how and then that gets put into in the AutoDOP network in the static object here. Let me just options or so that's what that's referencing. However, when we want to use the collision nodes we have available in Houdini, and I have one right here, pop collision detect. There's a couple of these. If we right click in the network window here, we have to be in a dynamics network. If I go collision nodes, and the one that I use most of the time is the collision detect because it has the most options, but the other ones are just different variations of this. So in order to make this collision node work, we can't use a VDB. As you can see here, with when I put the pop collision down, it is looking for a SOP path, and I put it onto the node that's the out display node, the null, for my box object, which is just the box object as a polygon object. So again, just to review where that is, if I go back to my box object, here's the out collision null, which is where the VDB is, and then here's the out display, the one that I'm referencing from the collision detect node. So that one uses straight geometry, whereas when we're calculating physics-based collisions, we typically get better results by converting to VDB, a distance VDB here, and then bringing that in as a static object. Now, you could also, to set up a collision with objects in the scene with your particles, you could use the static object tool.
The ground plane.
Which just gives us a few more nodes that basically does the same thing as this, except with a more complicated network. So as we talked about in class, we can just set it up this way ourselves, just doing it manually. Okay, so back to the collisions. So the trouble we were having in class was if I come in here, so again, this is a fairly basic particle system. It's just emitting from a location. I have this object, which is being used for the physics-based collision, as well as being called in here in the pop collision detect as determining when a particle has collided with it. So if I go to this node here, so what we did in class is I was trying to use the pop collision detect to build a separate stream in itself. And I found out probably the easier way is if we run our pop collision detects in line with the pop location node. And now the reason I set it up this way is because visually this makes sense to me. That's why I said this is probably not the only way to work. So I ran it in here. So if we take a look at the pop collision detect, I have it set here. Let's see. So it's looking for the path to the box object, and I'm going to the out display node, which is bringing the box in here as geometry, not as a VDB. So that's the first thing I did. Now I did also notice that I had to adjust the default particle size a little bit here. Otherwise, your particles will sometimes have a tendency to float off the surface here if this number is too high. Now, if it's too low, you also will miss some of the collision detection. So you need to dial this in to an acceptable number. And basically the way I do that is I just put the number in, and then I get in really close to the ground here, and I watch to see
That's interesting. Because it's no longer Awesome. So what's wrong now? Why doesn't this work? I wish information for this was easier. Refresh animation pop node. Houdini. This is very frustrating. Let's not play back. Let's play it back. Let's not play it back. Let's play it back. Not working. Reset simulation. Reset simulation. Doesn't work. Nothing works. Why isn't this updating? Why can't I delete the ground plane? Maybe in here, it's because I don't have this object merge. Pop up. There we go. Now that works just fine. Right? I had a ground plane in here. Right? And then we'd come to the output. Geo. Are you kidding me? Working hard. Yes, I am, Vic. And I'm losing my mind. It's fun. Glad you're here. How are you doing today? How is Enshrouded? I don't know if I can get the P scale of these, but I think we can get the age and do stuff like that later on. We can go and watch that tutorial again. I like how it changes the colors of them. Let's see what happens after I do this. All right, now that we have that, let's Because these are so small that it just... BDB. And just like that, we now have something. How do I, like, dissolve this? I mean, I guess it kind of goes away on its own. All right, I think we could try to turn this into a
What does your video sound like? Go to artlist.io and get the best music. And
What's
sound
my
effects
job
for
gonna
your
be? We're gonna split your skull into a speaker. He's probably like, "Rah."
Another step you need to do is not to trust the viewport, animation, and the timing. We need to create a flipbook. Flipbook will convert your animation to image sequence and play that in real time. Even if you clicked on the real time icon here, don't trust that. So let's create the flipbook. So I will come here and click on this icon. Okay, so this is the flipbook options, and here you see the frame range. This is the, and here you see book on this icon. Create the on the your animation timing. We need the that. Another step you need to do is not to
Hello, welcome to another part of the Pyro sim. We cannot just simply here make a camera because camera is only allowed on object. This will then be the flipbook texture and things out.
So we need a rope net. And then we want to start and end frame is going to be 16. Let's delete channels 1 and 16. This is going to be 512 by 512 because I don't think it needs to be that big. We'll see how it works, guys. I just want to start implementing this. It's already 110, which means I'll probably have this done hopefully at some time.
So we're just going to place this node over here. We can dive in the node, and then here we can type in flipbook. This will then these things. And of course, we cannot just simply here make a camera because camera is only allowed on object. And in here,
So he makes an object network, and then he puts a camera in the object. And I'm assuming he's going to turn this to orthographic. That can't see the handles here. But let's go ahead and kind of continue his little speech.
allowed on object level, so we need to create also an object node here as well. So we're going to create an object network. And in here, we're going to open this, and then we can just make a camera.
A new era of PCB design has arrived to provide flexibility.
So we have a camera. As you can see, you can play around with this. You can check where the camera is currently. So it's now just sitting at position 0. And to make things a bit easier for us is I want to automatically capture my volume here. I want to make sure that my camera automatically sort of like captures this volume. So the way I will do this is I will go here to my camera settings. I'm going to go to the view options. And first of all, we're going to make sure it's a square. So I'm going to set the resolution to, for example, one of these. Doesn't matter that much. You can always tweak that. And importantly is I'm actually going to switch into like a orthographic viewing mode. Now the reason for that is if I would now right click here on my handles, I can now here switch to different handles. And I'm going to switch to this handle over here.
Oh, he clicks on the handle? Okay.
And with this handle, this is basically now the capturing region of my camera. So everything inside this box will basically be seen as capture area. So we probably want to like tweak this. So this is the orthographic width type. Now, first of all, we need to figure out how large this is. And this is going to be controlled by the user as well. So what I will do is I will just simply make a grid. And I'm just going to make sure the grid is just 2 rows and 2 columns. Very basic grid. I'm going to set the size to, let's say, 3 for now. And let's here visualize our smoke. And let's template our grid here. Now what I want to do is I just want to then rotate my grid like so. Gonna do the match axis. And I'm gonna say that this should be minimum. So it's always at the bottom. So I'm gonna here switch back again like so. So this grid is sort of like marking what my capturing area will be. If we go back now to this level, we are losing that information. So what I will do is I will create a null node here. And I'm going to enable the guide. So I'm just going to type in guide I'm gonna go to my digital assets, gonna go to nodes, and we are gonna say guide geometry. And we're gonna here find our guides, press accept, and apply. And now when we go back, we sort of like have a guide here in this view. So basically everything in this frame will be captured by the camera. So of course we might want to tweak this, and I'm gonna go back to my digital asset here, I'm gonna go to parameters, and I'm gonna here grab the size tree. So I'm gonna here place that and press apply. So I'm gonna call this capture area, and this can go from maybe 1 to let's say 6, and press apply and accept as well. And we're gonna here grab this code, and we're gonna paste it over here as well. So for this tutorial, I'm just gonna stick to a simple square shape. You can also try to do rectangular shapes, but for this tutorial, I'm just... So now if I go to my flipbook settings, I can basically now make this larger or smaller. So when you have like a very large simulation, so as you can see, like I don't necessarily have like a large simulation going on. I don't need that much space, so I will probably just fit it like so. And we can like quickly tweak this on what we would like to have. So once that is done, we also now need to link this value, which is currently number 3, into the orthographic width. So we're going to copy paste that path that we had, but this will probably return 0. And that means because we are actually diving in here into another node, into another level, so we actually need to add another one like this. And now we'll actually get that number 3. So I'm going to copy paste this here as well. And what we also need to do is we actually need to move our camera up. So we can here move our camera. For example, we can move it like so, maybe move it a little bit backwards.
It seems like a pain in the butt.
And we can move this up based on the size divided by 2. So we're now basically centering that camera always like in the center of that position. So that is done. Our camera has been set up. And now let's try and do a test run of that. So we need to now link everything in the flipbook node. So here, first of all, we need to say what is my camera. So we're going to here go into our network. This is an object and camera. So here you can see that this will again like make like this whole link to the position of that. This is sort of like a bit hard coded to specifically the object tutorial 1 spider smokes tutorial, but we can actually do similar like you would do like referencing. So we're going to type in this, we're going to type it one more again. We can see that we can now have access to all the nodes on the other level. So we want to of course get access here to the object network, and then here we want to get access to that camera. So we're going to do it like so, so now it's not necessarily bounded to that location. And we're going to just do the same here as well, and I'm going to find here the baked volume. So here pyro baked volume. Then
I'm not using a pyro bake volume though. I'm using geometry. Like a whole big pain in the butt. Final color, emissive. What if I don't want to use the pyro bake? The path of the main pyro bake volume. Volume paths. Me final color path. I don't care about that. Can I just do that? Why didn't he do that? Let's go back in time and find out why he didn't do that.
Like referencing. So we're going to type in this. Actually do this is sort of like a bit hard coded to specifically the object tutorial 1 spider smokes tutorial, but we can actually do similar like you would do like referencing. So we're going to type in this. So we're going to do it like so, so
I mean, I don't know why it matters. I gotta do this again? Me. Okay, thank you. I'm assuming we don't need a flip book. You don't need the pyro to make that specifically, right? Like you can do regular objects. At least I'm hoping. So he creates a grid. Three. Match axes. Doesn't look like it gives me the same match axes, transform axes. Maybe that's it. Don't look like it. Like at all. Looks like it has about the same amount of things. There's like a lot of stuff just to get this suited. And the sad part is I don't even know if this is gonna work because he uses a pyro.
To then rotate my grid like so.
Bake. Okay. I use the transform instead of just doing it manually. My bad. We want this on this axis. So it should be just as simple as what is this? The Z. Oh no, actually not. I lied. Perspective, set view, front view. Match axes. Yeah, he's got a way better.
Gonna do the match axis.
The match size.
And I'm gonna say.
He said match size.
That this should be minimum. It's always.
He lied to me. He lied to all of us. Match size. Boop. 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 What do you say on this one? There. Okay. But it looks like it's cutting in. Yeah, we'd probably want this right here. Or if we're spawning a sprite or a plane right at the thing and expanding it, you probably want it in the center. But we'll figure that out later. Bum, 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 bum. Let's see. Now let's see him do all the crazy stuff where he makes
So this grid is sort of like.
And honestly, I don't think we need to match it because we already. This is set to 2, and it looks like when he did his camera, he set it the width to that, and this is also at 2. However, on the X and Y, he did change it to something else.
Go to my flip.
Put that to there.
As well. And what we also need to do is we actually need to move our camera up. So we can here move our camera. For example, we can move it like so, maybe move it a little bit backwards with the 1. And we can move this up based on the size divided by 2. So we're
Based on the size divided by 2. So it would just move up 1. Sorry. So it would just move up 1. 2 divided by 2.
We're now basically centering that camera, go into our object network, make it volume. Then linear or the Houdini default one. So in this case, I'm actually just going to use linear. And also since we are working with grayscales, it won't matter that much in my case. Then next up, we have here the composite view. So we can, for example, say I would like to preview the final color. Then it will open here the composite view. So currently you probably won't see anything because I've not rendered out anything. Interesting here is then of course the export options. So we can export a lot of different textures and data. So of course we have our final color. So this is like the default output or final color RGB with alpha. We can of course have the emissive with also a depth texture. Then also here we have both multi-directional contribution textures in case you need that. We also then have motion vectors and normal vectors. So you can see that you can get some quite advanced and interesting textures out of this. So if you want to have like extremely the basics, then we can basically, for example, turn all these off and then say we only want to see like the colors. I only want to focus on having the colors of this. So then we also have like real-time shaders and some interface options, but basically the tool will work now. So let's do a test render here by just clicking on render. And you should see this menu opening up, and now it will start rendering. So it should start doing some things here. When it is done rendering, you should probably have the mplay open here, and you will see how your texture will look like. So currently I see like I did not enable my looping. So this is definitely not loopable. And I can also see that maybe my smoke values are a bit too intense. It's like a very thick layer of smoke here. You might also have the situation where it's going to render out every single texture, like color, emissive, the multi-directional.
All right, in the object or in here. Let's go here. Preview image. I guess that won't work because we don't have anything. None. Whoa. We have a little dot. we have a little dot. Export resolution. The heck, I have this set to 512. Resolution's all high. We just need this, real-time shaders, and maybe we need a motion vector. Just in case. Real-time shaders.